All right, next up, USA's baby brother, and that is a term that I use simply so we don't get any issues
You don't want to save them for
from.
last?
No, I don't want to save them for last because I have them here in third. I would call them something else, but I'm not allowed to say that word on this podcast. We are a family friendly, uh, professional podcast, and I will not use the term that I'd like to use to describe them. Um, the second place finishers in the octagonal, entering their 17th finals of all time as the 13th best team in the world. Overrated. They look to get past the quarterfinals for the first time ever and get rid of that new nickname, USA's baby brother, if you guys haven't heard it, um, from the lips of supporters everywhere. All of their supporters are saying it. Just ask them. Especially after going 0-3 in trophy awarding games in 2021 against the United States. Hit wrecked. They've got an aging lineup with minimal support from their non existent youth movement relative to the neighbors to the north. You know, we're sending people all over the world for massive amounts of money, and they've got Diego Lanz playing bench warmer in Spain. Is that right? Get
I think it
wrecked.
sounds right.
Get wrecked. Um, it's going to be a tough group who will need to rely on. They will need to perform their ritual to bring back the ghost of Memo Ochoa as they do every 4 years to save them. Because I am convinced he's not playing right now, but you know he will show up and do something magical to keep them through to the round of 16, as he does every year. Um, Tata Martino, Moreno, Tata Moreno, Gerard Moreno, however you want to pronounce it. I've kind of washed his name out of my brain after what he did to Red Bull in 2018. So he is useless to me. But he's definitely going to wish that he brought more MLS Mexican talent with him, um, as he is bouncing his way back to irrelevancy after getting knocked out of the group stage. He will be begging for his job. MLS is clear. USA is clear. Mexico in the mud.
Was that the big preview that you were hyping the other day?
So I wrote it when I was really tired, and I thought it was way better than when I said it. Um, I was getting really hyped, but it was also like 11:30 at night, as directly after we recorded. So I was like, "Yeah, this is awesome." It wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Now
I'll
I kind of
rewrite
wish
one.
I heard it.
I'll rewrite one. Make it better next time.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Talk to me about their last five.
So last five for Mexico. They've got a 3-0 win against Suriname, a 1-1 draw against Jamaica, 1-0 loss against Paraguay, 1-0 win against Peru, and a 3-2 loss against Colombia. Rankings are 139 for Suriname, 64 for Jamaica, 47 for Paraguay, 23 for Peru, and 17 for Colombia. So seems like it's kind of flat on form, to be honest. I mean, maybe a little bit worse, just considering that one of their wins was against Suriname.
Yeah. Um, they so to go back to a bit of seriousness, they do have some injuries among the more prevalent starters in their group. I know Raul Jimenez is down with um, some hip issues at Wolves. Jesus Corona has broken his fibula, so he will most likely miss out on the World Cup. He's due back in December. And then little nicks here and there, but those are two big players to have missing if you're not ready, especially Corona, because that means you have to play with that bum Lyons at the right wing spot, and nobody wants that. Connor, can you put
That's
up your background really quick?
that's bold of you to think that he's even going to get a starting spot.
Bro, literally after what Miazga
Oh,
did to him.
you want me to put the
Oh, I
Miazga thing
need
in the
it. I need
background?
it right now for everybody watch. Everybody watching needs it.
Okay, hold on. There you go.
Way the toxicity into
Let me
my
get out of the
veins.
way. Here, I'll replace.
Yes.
I'll be
This
right
is
over here.
this is the only reason we need to not talk about this team. They are way below us, both in stature, in future, soccer ability.
You know what's funny?
USA clear.
Neither of the guys in the picture are playing for the national team anymore.
I know. Well, that's the thing. We had a guy who wasn't even in the picture, and this was like their most promising player, and we absolutely torched him. USA clear.
USA clear.
Um, yeah, so definitely some
Should we jump into top
important.
players?
I was about to say, yeah, let's jump into some players here. I only have two for some reason. I must have forgotten one.
Really? I've got three.
Um, I'll start with Edson Alvarez. Uh, Touted as one of the best center defensive mids in CONCACAF, but we all know Tyler Adams is clear. Um, he's a mainstay in a very strong Ajax side, very good in the defensive end of the ball, good vision. He can start an attack the other way. He will be the guy that links everything together. Um, but Tyler Adams is clear.
Yep, I've got him on my list as well. Another one I got on my list is Chucky Lozano, of course, playing for Napoli this season. 691 rating, 2 goals, 1 assist, and 11 appearances. Didn't really do a ton in terms of goals and assists in World Cup qualifying. Only one
Wow,
goal
I'm
and one
shocked.
assist in 10
I,
appearances.
I do believe he was hurt. Like,
Well,
didn't he have
he
that really bad
he made 10
injury to his head?
appearances.
Did he really?
That's what I saw. I mean, maybe it's wrong. I don't know, but
All I
that's what
remember is that all I remember is that injury he suffered in the Gold Cup when he like got concussed and like messed up his eye. But
well,
alas.
he also scored in the recent friendly against Peru. So I think, regardless of what his form coming in, he's going to be a massively important player for them.
So my notes here, what I have is uh, he was he was once Mexico's strongest attacking player. He gained really good international acclaim as one of the first people from CONCACAF to make that overseas move. Now he's just averages every USMNT winger. Alex Muyl is absolutely clear. Um, 3 goals in 14 games in the UCL. Uh, and Serie A for Napoli, 16 goals for Mexico in about 60 games. He's dynamic. He's quick. He creates a lot of things wide. He'll cut inside. He'll get shots off. He will cause a lot of issues for defenders. Alex Muyl is still clear.
Are these the only two you had on your list?
Those were the only two I had. I'm sure whoever you say was probably on my brain, and then I was like, I'm going to bed, and then
Well,
forgot.
you can't leave this guy off when we're talking about the World Cup. It's
I
it's
left Memo
Guillermo
Ochoa off.
Ochoa.
I did it. I left him. I left him off. Fight me.
Okay, I will fight you. This guy is different gravy when it comes to the World Cup, and you know it, and you know it. We've seen it
He's
time after time. He just like he just I don't know. He's like on steroids. He's um if you remember him, he's like Miroslav Klose for Germany, who was just like different gravy for that Germany team. But once you got to the club level, he was just average. Um, he's been playing consistently in Mexico for Club America, 20 appearances, 7 clean sheets this season. He had 8 clean sheets in 14 appearances in World Cup qualifying, apparently, which I was kind of surprised that I didn't think he had that many. Um, 2 clean sheets in recent friendlies against Peru and Ecuador. No clean sheet against Colombia, but can't count this guy out when it comes to the World Cup. He will step up as he always does, I'm sure. I don't care if he's 37. He will probably make ridiculous saves to bail out Mexico.
How has he had 7 clean sheets in Liga MX? He doesn't. You can this. He belongs on FC Dallas. You cannot convince me this man plays. He is an FC Dallas man if I've ever seen one.
I mean, he might be on Dallas. We don't know.
Literally. All right. Predicted 11. Ghost of Memo Ochoa in goal. In a 4-3-3, I've got from right to left, I've got Sanchez, Moreno, Araujo, and Gallardo. In the middle three, I've got Gutierrez, Alvarez, and Rodriguez. And right to left, I've got Lozano, I've got Jimenez, and I've got Laenz. If Jimenez is not healthy, I've got Funes Mori filling into that spot, and I think he'll do just as good of a job.
I think we actually have a few different here. Um, Mine may not be right. I'm not going to claim to be right. But I have got Ochoa in goal, of course. I've got from right to left in defense. I went with Kevin Alvarez on the right side. I saw his name a lot recently at right
Mhm.
back, so I've got him. Center backs of Cesar Montes and Hector Moreno, and Jesus Gallardo at left back. Who did you say your midfield three was again? I think I had two of the same, but I don't remember who the one was.
I had Eric Gutierrez, I had Edson Alvarez, and I had Carlos Rodriguez.
Okay, so the only one I had different, I didn't have Gutierrez in there. I've got Edson Alvarez, Carlos Rodriguez, and I put Hector Herrera in there, even though
you
Tata
think you think Tata Martino's taking Hector Herrera after playing for Houston?
he
You
he made
are
the
out of your mind.
preliminary team, so
That doesn't
I'm
matter. He's
I'm
not
gonna
going there.
assume he's gonna be there.
I
Uh,
cannot tell you how improbable it is that anybody from MLS is being taken to Tata Martino's team.
well, we'll have to wait and see. Front three, I've got Lozano. I said Jimenez or Funes Mori if Jimenez is not playing. And then on the right side, I actually didn't put Linez, considering I
He's
don't
trash, I
remember.
know.
I don't remember seeing him like in the team at all recently. I gotta double check that because it seems kind of odd. But I went with either Antuna or Alvarado on the right side. But I want to double check that now because I could have sworn I feel like he hasn't been in the team in a while. I saw him on the bench a few times, but
And it
I
might
will.
be so. I just think that he would. I didn't know the other two, so I put him in instead.
I'm just double checking right now, really quick. It looks like. Let me see. So it looks like he plays, but he comes off the bench. So he came off the bench
See,
for 14 minutes against Colombia. He played in for 12 minutes in a friendly against Nigeria. And in World Cup qualifying, he also came off the bench in, I think, every game. So it doesn't seem
see,
like he
if Tata
gets.
Martino was, if he was smart, he would just take Efren Alvarez and just play him at right wing and have him hit screamers all day. But he's not, and he is a Mexico snob. He's not a Euro snob. He only takes players who play in League MX.
He's an anti. No, he's not an anti MLS. He's an MLS snob, I guess, or an anti MLS snob. What's
Anti
the right?
MLS snob. I think that's the way
Okay.
we put it. He's a hater. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I kind of
Um,
agree with you.
so my questions for you: how far clear are all the other nations of Mexico?
Very far
We have to,
clear.
we have to pronounce it properly. Um, Genuine question: are they in trouble with their lack of youth promise coming up? Right, we talked about how the they've got two or three guys that are really really promising, while the United States and Canada are all really just shooting up with young talent. Is that going to hurt them in this World Cup not to have a youth system to to try and rely on players who are in their upper lower 30s, some of them upper 30s with Guardado and Ochoa? Is that going to hurt them?
I think for this World Cup they'll be okay. Um, I think the next one is where you'll start to probably see some of that in effect. I don't think that they're like in trouble in the terms in like the way that I think they'll like start to fall off in coming years, but I certainly don't think that they're gonna be like the sole dominant team in CONCACAF anymore. Not that they were solely dominant before because the US would compete with them, but I do think that Mexico was probably the stronger team for at least a good while. I think with the way that the US has been producing talent lately, and even Canada as well, I think they're gonna quickly catch up, if not overtake Mexico, and then Mexico might be playing third fiddle and might be trying to catch up to the US and Canada then at that point. Um,
Things you love to see.
I don't think that's going to be an issue now. That's an issue for down the road. And it may not even be an issue. Who knows? I don't know the Mexico team enough to know like who's in the pipeline. Um, maybe some guys kind of burst onto the scene a little bit later. Maybe there are some young players in Liga MX that are going to start coming up and getting moves to Europe, and all of a sudden now we're talking about this new youth movement for Mexico. So at the moment, it doesn't seem like there's too much, but I'm not going to count them out on that yet.
You're too nice.
Yes,
They're screwed. They've got nothing left. Might as well just dissolve the entire team.
I'm sure
USA
you would
clear of
love that.
Pexico.
I'm sure you would
Pexico
love
are
that.
Pexico are absolutely finished.
Fair enough.